So, I don't know what I'm gonna go through now, but, well, it's gonna be some Reddit things, once again. But it is fine, it is good, it is great, and the first one is again from the Stoicism subreddit. After 3 years of reading the Daily Stoic every single day, I finally upgraded my morning routine. From reading on my Kindle/web browser to reading in the limited edition leather-bound hardcover. I am truly in love. It is one of the most beautiful books I own, is something I really cherish. The Daily Stoic sing every single day. I mean, I know it is by Ryan Holiday, right? But I didn't know that there's some letter book version of that, or at least, also hardcover. Anyway, and then there is an ad for GTA Online. Well, thanks. And it's also in German. Thank you. Can you help me find this book that changed my life as a kid? Well, I do want to figure out. There's a person kind of describing what the book was about and so on and so forth. And I really want to see whether somebody was able to come up with the title, because there's actually, pretty, quite a lot of things that I'm thinking about that I was doing back in the days. I mean, when it's about, mostly playing games. I've been playing tons of games, and it's been my youth. I mean, this could sound kind of, sad and or bad and or whatever, but no, I really enjoyed it because I was always playing with my older brother, and it's it's always been nice, and I'm actually so tremendously grateful for the fact that I've had an older brother, or still having an older brother in my life. But especially back in the days, I never had to be alone. Of course, there were fights and so on and so forth, but I don't know. It's always been a blast with him, and yeah, I just truly enjoy that, and I'm pretty thankful. The first comment, Enchantress from the Stars by Sylvia Louise Engdahl. This book had a huge impact on me too. And then the original post creator, oh my god, you did it, and on the first comment too. You just solved a 20-year mystery for me within 2 seconds of me posting. Holy ghost. Thank you. I'm excited too, and it looks like it's print as an ebook anyway. It's in print as an ebook anyway. Well, I don't get that, but I enjoy that. I mean, if you do have something that you're looking for, whether it is actually about books, games, whatever it might be about, just use Reddit. I think it is a pretty good idea. I'm quitting self-deprecating humor. Well, I don't know, I thought about that as well, especially back in the days when I thought more about such things, but yeah, is it really that bad? Maybe subconsciously, and I don't want to downplay the subconscious thing and then saying, okay, yeah, well, then it is fine. No, I think especially when it is about that, then one should really change something, because, yeah, subconscious shit is definitely a big thing to think about and to have in mind, what is doing things to me subconsciously. But you know what? I actually want to go through something rather sensical, even though I do know that, especially yesterday, I decided to go through some Reddit things because there's not a lot of editing involved and or just having to deal with the notes and or just not the notes but the description and so on and so forth. But I think that, I don't know, I could do better, and I could do a better job of making something and creating something that other people actually want to see. Timeless lessons applied to today. Aesop for adults. Is this a long article? No, it is not. Let's actually see. I think it is always interesting to see certain lessons and certain things that people have been using back in the days, especially when it is ancient times. Stoicism is quite about that entirely. But yeah. Aesop's fables are unsparing. Hiding behind animal characters, Aesop speaks unvarnishedly about humans' dark side, while Aesop, not gonna say Aesop, I'm gonna A. A's fables are thought of as for children. Some of them offer lessons for us all. The stage and the fawn. The stag and the fawn. I don't know what both is, but anyway. A stag admits to a fawn that while he may be low and threaten on seeing a hound, he runs away. An interpretation for adults: sometimes insecure people blow loud as a conch to intimidate for fear of being discovered as an empty shell. The feared tree and the brabo. A feared tree boasted to a brabo, "I'm important for building houses. You're useless." The brabo replied, "When they come to chop you down, you'll wish you were a bramble." I don't know what a fucking bramble is. What is a fucking bramble? A prickly crippling shrub of the rose family, especially a blackberry. The fruit of the blackberry. Well, now I know. Why don't you just say fucking blackberry? Dumbass. Just joking. Beyond a modest income, additional money may yield fewer pleasures than the very steady cure. Concerns about investments, tax strategies, ensuring all you have, keeping up with the Joneses, etc. Plus, you may be more subject to being jobbed down by jealous co-workers, neighbors, media attacks on the heavens, and dishonest, jealous co-workers. And dishonest pervious of everything from timeshares to service-hungry, breakdown-prone luxury cars. Yeah, it may be wise to aim for modest housing, cars, clothes, college certifications, etc., thereby both freeing you from some worry and allowing you to choose a career you would enjoy more, even if it paid less. Well, I'm not quite sure about the college thing. I mean, I totally agree with, I don't need a big house. I don't need a big car. I don't need just expensive clothing. I don't care about that. When I would be caring about something, then would definitely be houses and cars and clothes that are not hurting the environment and or at least are giving some benefit to someone. And I mean, it also makes sense to use solar energy and so on and so forth. Like when I do wanna use a lot of money, then I'm gonna try to deal with such things and not with, okay, how rich can I look to other people and or how big can I go and or how expensive can I be and go and whatnot. Like, nah, this doesn't make too much sense for me. The wolf and the lamb. The lamb was sweet to the wolf, but was devoured anyway. An interpretation for adults: we like to think we'll be rewarded for our kindness. Alas, some people give and get taken for granted or even are seen as patsies and destroyed. Be careful when you bestow your gentle spirit. I would still be a person that gives. And there is actually a book by, I think it is by Dan Heath and somebody else, but it is Give and Take, as far as I remember, or Give or Take, something like that. And it is about 3 kinds of people: givers, takers, and something in between, like people that do want to balance out things, they do not want to get taken advantage of, and they also don't want to take advantage of other people, to really, how should I say, like not every taker is obviously taking advantage of other people, and also not every giver is being taken advantage of, but just to make it understandable. The cock and the jewel. The cock tosses aside a jewel, saying he would rather have a grain of barley. An interpretation for adults: we all have gifts, perhaps of intelligence, kindness, artistic ability, whatever, but only some people will appreciate them. Especially share your gifts with people who will. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it also makes sense to just work in a company that appreciates your skill as well. The council mice. Tired of the cat attacking, the mouse council agreed that a bell be put on the cat so when it neared, the tinkler would warn the mice. But the council members, scared to put the bell on the cat, assigned that to the hoi polloi. An interpretation for else, it is easy for government bosses and romantic partners to issue edicts, more difficult to execute them. Before acceding to an order or even an entreaty, ask how it might practically and wisely be implemented. Which makes sense. I mean, why would you come up with something that is not applicable or implementable? If this is even a word, I don't care. The lion and the 4 bulls. 4 bulls agreed to stick together to avoid getting eaten by the lion, but the lion whispered falsehoods about each bull to the 3 others. Thus they quarreled, broke their alliance, and the lion ate them all. An interpretation for else, beware of people you suspect could try to break apart your alliances for their benefit. For example, in your workplace, 2 of you agree to support a new initiative. It is not above an unscrupulous opponent to lie to you that your colleagues is bad-mouthing you. The miscreant not only wants to break your alliance, but wants your job. The lesson, take gossip and advice with grains of salt, especially from those who stand to gain. The fox and the sick king. A lion pretended to be sick, and all the animals came to the cave to visit. But the fox saw that all the paw prints pointed into the cave, none out, so the fox stayed out. An interpretation for adults, don't necessarily follow the crowd, especially if it's risky. For example, today's marijuana mania, better first to observe lest you be quote-unquote eaten. Pretty interesting that marijuana is gotten a bad reputation now all of a sudden. I mean, there's so many things that one could say here, that a lot of people are doing. But yeah, the funny thing is that it probably says something about the author, doesn't it? That the author, Marty Nemco, PhD, I don't know, I don't want to say anything, like I don't know this person, I don't know what he's up to, I don't know what he's doing, and so on and so forth, but I don't know, like, there's many things you could come up with, and I do want to say that marijuana should be, you shouldn't take it lightly. You should really be conscious about the downsides it can have and the possible side effects, which can be devastating and which can be pretty fucked up. But just have it in mind, and also think about the law. If it is illegal in your state or wherever you're living in your country, then it makes sense to not do that, not take it and just stick with other things. Even if alcohol is way worse and so on and so forth. I mean, there are certain studies, and one should really look into certain studies, and those studies that are being made in places where marijuana is legally consumed, for example, the Netherlands or Amsterdam or California and whatnot, and maybe have a look into the population, how they're acting, how they behave, how they feel, and what problems they do have to deal with. And there probably are certain things that are more concentrated in these areas than in other areas. And if this is the case and it is something negative, then potentially it is the fact that these things can occur more often than other things. I mean, I don't know. I think that there was a study in Amsterdam that showed that a ton of people are depressed in Amsterdam, but I don't know for sure. But it is something to look out for, and it is something to look into, and it is something to make sure that maybe, for example, when you're having a predisposition with being depressed or with mental illnesses, that you may be a bit more concerned about these side effects, and or that you think about the doses that you're taking, or using, or whatever. The mischief's dog. A dog's owner was tired of the other animals complaining that the cur was ever nipping at their heels, so the owner tied a bell around the dog's neck. The dog thought it a badge of honor. Thought, I don't actually know. An interpretation for else, occasionally we honor or praise someone because we are afraid of them and want to avoid their antipathy. As Machiavelli wrote, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So when you get praise or an award, you might ask yourself whether it's earned or an attempt to neutralize you. This is very cynical. The wolf and the crane. While devouring prey, the wolf got a bone stuck in his throat and begged to pay the crane to remove it. The crane did, but the wolf refused to pay. You had your head in my mouth. You're lucky I didn't eat you. An interpretation for adults: beware of getting involved with a mean person. Yeah, this is actually it with the article. I do hope that you're not too cynical now. Think about it, make sense of it. I know that you're smart. I know that you can think on your own, and I know that you can make sense of it all. Meaning, take what makes sense and don't take what doesn't for you and your life. Gonna see you the next time. Thank you.